Ethics and policies in artificial intelligence. As we know that artificial intelligence, AI, is most emerging area. Every day we are witnessing a number of advances and real-time exciting applications of artificial intelligence. But at the same time, we have to also seriously consider the ethical and policies, ethical issues, ethical guidelines and policies involved in responsible use of artificial intelligence. So if you see this picture, we need to understand what is right and what is wrong while using the artificial intelligence or AI based smart systems. We know that whatever system is AI enabled, we generally call those systems as a smart systems. So the smart systems are used in a number of areas, right from healthcare, manufacturing, environment monitoring, and so on, in the sustainable agriculture, smart agriculture, and so on. But what is important is whether we use AI based systems in a responsible manner or not. We don't violate any ethical guidelines and we respect the human values. We respect the ethical values in deployment, design, and implementation of AI based solutions. So, this lecture is all about the ethics and the policies and what are the regulatory mechanisms existing in global as well as Indian context. So the talk will include about usefulness, risk and threats of AI, ethical issues, global approaches, and policies in Indian context. So as I mentioned in the beginning that we need to have trustworthy AI so that responsibly one can use AI system. We also know that AI and ML based systems hugely depend on algorithms and mathematical models. So the ethics are involved related to algorithms, related to data, or related to practices. How do we use AI? Whether we respect the human autonomy, human integrity, human values, do we harm any person or any animal or anybody in the system by using artificial intelligence? Is it providing some fair result? Is the outcome clear and explicit? Related to data, a lot of ethical values are involved: transparency, accountability, equality, and so on. We'll discuss in detail. And related to practices where we are deploying and making use of AI-based systems, responsibility, liability, code of conduct, and regulations all are involved. So as we know that what is artificial intelligence is nothing but, the theory and development of computer systems that perform the computing devices, computer systems perform the different tasks that require a human intelligence, visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, etc. It includes a number of domains like ML, machine learning, and the most emerging machine learning called as deep learning, neural network, NLP, computer vision, cognitive computing. Cognitive computing empowers the computing architecture with the abilities of all the cognitive domains like thinking, recalling, analysis, and so on. So the foundation of computer learning is based on AI through which computers gain ability to deal with, to work with large amount of data and use the intelligence to make optimal decisions in various tasks and applications, and also to bring discoveries much faster than the human being. So what are the emerging uses of artificial intelligence? The most emerging area currently AI is being used is in healthcare, be it end of life care, treatment, diagnosis, early detection of cancer, or early detection of any other kind of disabilities and disorders, community well-being, keeping well, training, decision making, treatment, etc. Telemedicine, e-medicine, healthcare, internet of things, rather internet of medical things are going to transform the medical or health industry, where the IoT kind of devices can be deployed to capture large amount of data related to medical modalities and biomedical modalities, and the suitable treatment and diagnosis can be provided to a large number of people who are undergoing with a number of types of disorders and disabilities. But at the same time, while using healthcare and other applications, we need to think about very seriously the ethical specifications and the guidelines, such as fairness, transparency, accountability, sustainability, privacy, and robustness. We'll discuss in detail. We also know at the same time, especially during last 2 3 years during COVID pandemic, the education, the new paradigm of education was used based on e-learning, virtual learning, virtual mode of education. But in virtual mode of education also there are important considerations related to ethics. The responsible use of technology in imparting the education is also very important to be considered while developing, designing, and using the artificial intelligence. In the area of robotics, where robots are used in industries, manufacturing, in space missions, where the robots are nothing but the brilliant combination or hybrid outcome of sensor technology and artificial intelligence. So there are public perceptions that suggest that the robots are going to create problems for the people, for ordinary people. There will be loss of jobs due to the robots which are coming into the different industries like manufacturing and different industries. So we'll understand this, how actually the AI does it, or actually is it going to create some loss of jobs. We'll understand. Smart manufacturing, as I mentioned, that proper controlling of industrial parameters, very appropriate monitoring of different industrial parameters, industrial progresses in different stages can be done very, very appropriately with good amount of accuracy with the emergence of AI and ML models. Wherever there is no, the human intervention, human reach is extremely difficult. The automated systems, the robotic arms, and these kind of systems can be deployed, and we can take help of these arms, robotic arms in the industries in better monitoring and efficient progress and growth and development of the industrial products. Smart agriculture, where we think of sustainable agriculture, sustainable growth in the agriculture. There you can see the IoT devices, drones, AI enabled monitoring, AI monitored, a number of devices and products can be used to assess the quality of the crop, to assess the quality of the soil, to assess the appropriate time in which the particular crop or appropriate crop could be actually harvested. And all these things are very important in the sustainable agriculture. What kind of and how much pesticide is needed in a particular crop, that amount in an optimal manner can be assessed by using AI ML techniques. So this is also a most emerging area where AI and ML is going to play a significant role. Driverless car is one where this is considered as the most exciting application and use of artificial intelligence. Again, as a combination of AI and sensor technology, hundreds of sensors are around the car are there, and they capture all real-time data when the driver is running on the road, and in the real time it takes decision in optimal manner and runs on the road without meeting any accident. But there is a major concern related to driverless car, like interoperability. There are different standards in different countries, different transport related guidelines and policies. And what is even more important is, if a driverless car meets with the accident and there is a harm to the people, there is harm to someone, who will be held accountable in the driverless car? So this is a major concern there in the driverless car, be it the most exciting application. uh, Social robots are coming into picture, where they're designed to interact with the humans, and the very purpose of using social robots is to create some social ambience in family and in the society. Say for example, especially in the healthcare, the people who are suffering with some brain disorder and disability, mental disorder and mental disability, their amount of the level of motivation is very less in them, and they are highly demotivated and discouraged people. So the robots are coming into the market, in an attempt to create some motivation in them, to keep them motivated, to keep the patients encouraged and engaged in some, some motivational task, and they can keep motivated and they can lead to some extent the normal life. So there the social robots are coming into the picture. So as we mentioned that as the title of the talk is on threats and risks and the ethical and the policy related guidelines. So what do we, understand by the pros and cons of AI? There may be number of pros, there may be number of cons while using AI. As we know that there is increasing reliance on AI system, but it also at the same time poses a number of potential threats and risk. For example, it doesn't get AI related system doesn't get tired, wear out easily, just like we human being get tired after some time. Application in medical industry is so much in healthcare. It's actually, bringing the transformation in the healthcare, accurate decision making, selfless with no biases, just like, the human being can have some biasing, but that bias is probably not there in artificial intelligence system, and many more. But at the same time, there are potential risks like it incurs high cost if you want to use the AI based system for certain application as the home appliance or for any other purpose. There are risks associated. It leads to unemployment. There is a public perception, but I would like to answer this particular perception in some more detail in coming slide. No improvement with experience, because what happens that we human being gain a lot of experience while working for a long time on a particular thing or a task, and we always try to optimize our performance. So in the similar manner, improvement is not significant until and unless it is tuned and trained by the human being. So human intervention is there, lacks in creativity. Whatever is there as a creativity, that creativity is there because of human being. So all these things are very important, like data related risks are there. There is a limitation in the learning, how much learning will be there. Huge amount of data is there. So will the learning be robust? The learning methods, AI/ML methods are there. Are they actually robust methods providing some robust output, some optimal findings, optimal conclusion? Data quality plays very important role. Say the driverless car is running on the road and suddenly weather, is disturbed, weather is bad. So does it still run with the same speed and same accuracy? So data quality in the area of biometrics, when you are using your fingertip, fingertip is dirty, and so on. So when the quality of the data is not good, not proper, so does it still handle the data successfully? Does it still work? The smart system, data related data privacy attacks, training data poisoning means some person who is an intruder is trying to corrupt your data, which is a meaningful and important private data in a system. If it is there, it is going to create huge risk in the system. Adversarial inputs, model extraction related to testing and trust, incorrect output. If you are testing a system and if it is producing incorrect, improper output, no transparency is there, no biasing is considered. Related to compliances, whether the policies of government interoperating, the different policies are being complied or not. All these are the difficult questions related to policies and ethical guidelines of using AI system and AI empowered smart system. This is an interesting picture that talks about data security threats. We all keep on hearing, the news related to spyware, viruses, software failure, network sniffing, malicious software, hacking, cyber criminal, password hacking, and so on. The cyber fraud and cyber crimes are becoming, is happening regularly. So this is the most difficult threat, most difficult risk in using the artificial intelligence. Despite it has huge number of advantages and benefits, but there is a risk, there is a threat associated related to data security. And there are some dangers associated like loss of human jobs related to one perception. I'll answer to this. AI terrorism, artificial intelligence terrorism, cyber war, cyber crime, autonomous weapons, AI based weapons, artificial intelligence bias, invasion of privacy. All these are the major concerns which need to be taken care of. So let's talk about ethics. If we talk about ethics, are nothing but the set of guidelines that advise on design, and outcomes of AI. So what are the ethical guidelines? What are the setup guidelines which are very important to responsible use of AI, whether this is a design and development stage of AI or the outcome of AI. In both the areas, the setup guidelines that prompt or that suggest the responsible way of using the artificial intelligence and its based product, that is very important. So AI lacks awareness of moral compass or empathy to judge what is right and what is wrong, and therefore a lot of factors are involved in ethics, say transparency, respect for human values, fairness, privacy, accountability, safety, whether your data is safe or not. Transparency, it ensures compliance with the human moralities or not. Respect for human values, we have to ensure that it is sensitive to different cultural norms and values. I mean, it's very fair. It doesn't discriminate. Privacy is there. The personal confidential data and information is kept private and it is secured. Safety is always there. So these are the important factors. And if these factors are taken into consideration in design and development, as well as the outcome of AI, so we'll say that, yeah, ethics are, respected, and ethical values and guidelines are there in a policy framework that continuously monitors if there is any violation or a breach on data and the privacy. So principles of ethics, AI ethics, are mainly respect for persons, beneficence, and justice. Respect for person means there you have to recognize the autonomy of individuals. Say in a healthcare, you are involving a number of persons in your research, and you are taking some of their medical or personal data. So you have to get their written consent, and at any stage before actually the deployment happens of AI system, they must be given that provision to withdraw their consent. They're not interested, and that kind of provision has to be there. So you have to respect the persons in the implementation and deployment and design of AI. Beneficence, healthcare ethics are there. You have to keep in mind, though it has a huge benefit, but the benefit has to be made very clear among the masses, and who are the beneficiaries, how it is going to benefit the society, benefit the mankind, benefit the world and the country. One has to explain the masses, explain the people who are involved in the study and the research development of artificial intelligence. Like justice, I mean, there must be some justice and regulatory mechanism that ensures ethical guidelines are being practiced properly and AI systems are used in the responsible manner. Technological singularity, it means scientific creativity, general wisdom, social skills you can try to inculcate in the robots. Like this is unrealistic to think that driverless car would never get into a car accident. So who is going to be responsible? So can we think of an integrated approach or a semi-autonomous kind of approach where the driverless car with some human intervention is there, so that the person who is involved providing some human intervention can be held accountable or responsible for any mishaps or any mishappenings as the outcome of functioning of autonomous vehicles. So this is one example. The technology or the AI system is not only dominating, but there is also some human intervention that can keep track of if there is any violation or breach of data privacy and the ethical values being respected, human values being respected, morality being respected or not. Impact on jobs in this particular thing, I would like to say that please remember that when AI comes, because of artificial intelligence, because of automation in industries, manufacturing, and number of areas, there is a perception that when AI comes, say in manufacturing, a lot of people who are involved as a laborers, they lose their jobs. To some extent, it might it might look true that yeah, some people might lose jobs. You can have robotic arms, robots who can be deployed to work in place of laborers. But at the same time, we need to understand, when AI is evolving, AI is emerging, a lot of jobs, even more and more number of jobs are created, can be created, would be created in different areas. So in different sectors, will be there will be more and more number of jobs. And please remember, when AI advancement is happening, so a lot of companies and industries will be coming. So we'll also think about that we have to keep in mind that the infrastructural development related to buildings, construction related to buildings, infrastructural development related to roads, all these are going to happen. So whenever AI is emerging and development is happening, so at the same time, more and more infrastructural growth will happen. And if that infrastructural development is happening, so everywhere the robots cannot be sent, the automated systems can't be always deployed in doing all the tasks involved in the road construction. So there more and more number of jobs will be created in the informal sector as well. Of course, the comprehension, apprehension, of course, the perception is, is a valid perception, but there are jobs, even more and more number of jobs which are created in different areas. At the same time, that also is actually requiring more and more infrastructure there. Informal sector people will also be needed. So I think that is the reason that it's not going to in fact create a lot of loss in terms of jobs. Privacy, I've already talked about data privacy, data protection, data security, and other concerns have to be taken into consideration very seriously, like biometric. If you are providing some biometrics, your personal data, so it has to be respected. It has to be secure and safe. Policies are therefore required that can eliminate any vulnerabilities and opportunities for surveillance and hacking and cyber attacks. Bias needs to be avoided. Instances of bias and discrimination across a number of intelligent systems have raised many ethical questions regarding use of AI. And for this, we need to have policies and some framework. I have already explained about the accountability, which is a very important factor. Say AI system doesn't produce expected result, rather it produces very, very unwanted and some, harmful impact on the result. Who will be held responsible and accountable? That's the major concern. For that, some guidelines are needed, and we will be discussing at the end of the lecture that there are some global approaches. There are some institutions who are continuously monitoring all these factors into considerations. So how can we establish AI ethics? So there are three, four, things which are very important. Governance is most important thing. Say in AI based industry, there must be internal governance mechanism also. And at the government level in a country where the AI deployment is happening, that kind of governance also must ensure the safety and privacy of the data and ethical practices and use of artificial intelligence. So data standards, quality assurance, internal regulatory mechanisms, internal legal teams must be there in the industries where AI is the dominant factor that can keep track of any violation or breaches or something which is not allowed or permitted in the responsible use of artificial intelligence system. Explainability doesn't look, it must not look as a black box. The public who are beneficiaries must understand that this is something which is helping us in various our beneficiary and other kind of schemes, and that output which is coming is a relevant output, and the clarity is there in understanding what is the outcome of the artificial intelligence. Transparency must be there so that we can make the AI system as a trustworthy system. The general public, the common people can have trust in the smart and AI system. So there are some ethical organizations who are working, which are working in the areas of development of the framework related to policies and ethics. Algorithm Watch is a non-profit organization that focuses on explainable and traceable algorithm and decision process in AI programs. AI Now Institute is a non-profit institute at New York University. Researches are going on in the areas of social implications of AI. DARPA, which is Defense Advanced Research Project Agency of US Department, that is focusing on promoting explainable AI and research. There is a CHAI, which is called a Center for Human Computer AI, is a cooperation for various institutes and universities to promote trustworthy AI and provable beneficial schemes. There is a NASCHI called as a National Security and AI is an independent commission that considers the methods and means necessary to advance the development of AI ML and the related technologies to comprehensively address the national security and defense needs of the US. So there are regulatory, legal mechanisms for managing AI systems, especially in the high risk sectors such as healthcare, finance sector, various sectors, specific legal protections and guidelines for products and services in these areas need, that consideration. However, a simple applicability of these laws, common laws, to AI-based decision-making processes may not be appropriate. So for a specific aspect of algorithm decision, new legal framework, new legal protections are needed. And this is important. Why? Because to identify the specific role the legislation can play in order to monitor the responsible use of AI. So biggest risk of adopting the approach to manage AI system is that the regulations have historically not kept pace with the technology. That's the problem. And AI is still evolving and the risks are not well understood because of evolving nature of AI. So that is another problem. So it's difficult to design a concrete long-term regulatory approaches. There is a need to balance soft governance measures with regulation depending on the use cases and risk involved. And AI ecosystem has, we are talking about AI ecosystem where ethical practices and policies are there. So it involves a number of stakeholders, say private sector, research institutes, government organizations, legal bodies, regulators, standard setting bodies, etc. Therefore, it is important to bring in common understanding on acceptable behavior. It is always important to bring all these stakeholders on a common platform on acceptable behavior among different stakeholders and clarify applicability of existing policies and regulations through creation of principles and guiding framework. Some sectors have unique considerations that require sector-specific laws for AI. Review of AI ethics, principles, guidelines will need to be done on ongoing basis given the rapid pace of development and the emerging technology. Since it is evolving, we have to, create certain principles and guidelines so that, and that too, revision is happening. Revision must be the ongoing process. So, what are the global approaches? There are some practices, frameworks, legal frameworks which are working globally, like in European Union, there is ethical guidelines for trustworthy AI, where they propose some set of 7 key requirements that AI systems should meet in order to be deemed trustworthy. Similarly, in Singapore has a model of AI governance framework. Even in the United States of America, they have principles of stewardship for AI applications. The Personal Data Protection Act 2012, released by a Personal Data Protection Committee in Singapore, it establishes a data protection law that comprises various rules governing the collection, use, disclosure, and care of personal data. Talking about Indian context, India does not actually have overarching guidance framework for the use of AI systems in a responsible manner. Establishing such a framework would be crucial, therefore, for providing guidance to various stakeholders in responsible management of AI. There are certain sector-specific frameworks which are there in India, which have been identified for development and use of AI. For example, in finance, Security and Exchange Board of India that issued some circular in January 2019 to a number of people, number of stakeholders like stockbrokers, depository participants, recognized stock exchanges, depositories in May 29. One more was there to all mutual funds, asset management companies, trustees, board of trustees, association of mutual funds, and so on reporting the requirements of AI/ML applications and systems offered and used. So there was some guidelines which were issued by SEBI. The strategy of National Digital Health Mission. As I mentioned, there are some certain specific frameworks. So there is one more strategy for National Digital Health Mission, identifies the need for creation of guidance and standards to ensure the reliability of AI systems in the healthcare. Data Empowerment and Protection Architecture, DEPA by NITI Aayog. There is one more, that is Data Protection and Empowerment Architecture. It presents a technical framework for people to retain control of their personal data and means to leverage it to avail services and benefits. In India, currently does not have overarching legislation specific to AI. And the closest to it, there is a draft called as Personal Data Protection Bill 2019, which is very closer to the legislation for AI. It was designed as a comprehensive legislation which outlines various aspects of privacy protections that AI solutions need to comply with. That converts limitations of data processing. It covers limitations of data processing, security safeguards to protect against data breaches if there is any, and provision of special provisions related to vulnerable users such as kids. This bill, Data Protection Bill, provides a vibrant data protection legislation where the law shall be supplemented with regulations and codes of practice, thereby making it easier for privacy to evolve the evolving technologies. There is one more India called as IT Act 2000, Information Technology Act, is a backbone of data protection legislation in India. It is considered as a backbone of data protection. The provisions of IT Act 2000 combined with IT Rules 2011, IT Rules, Reasonable Security Practices, Procedures, and Sensitive Personal Data or the information. There were rules in 2011, SDPI rules, and IT Act. Both are combined to establish a technology agnostic regime for protection of sensitive personal information for all the bodies. There is a national strategy 2018. It advocates for leveraging technology to manage AI systems responsibly. Technology has the potential to be agile and respond to evolving requirements. Private sector, academic institutes, government organizations, international bodies around the world all have been contributing to research and development of technology tools to manage AI system responsibly. So there is a global partnership on AI called as GPAI, has a working group on responsible AI, where the World Economic Forum has launched this Global AI Action Alliance to accelerate the adoption of trusted, transparent, and inclusive AI globally and across the sector, so that this global platform can, keep track of the good practices and the ethical practices and usages of artificial intelligence based products. For example, Google, Microsoft, IBM have also released some open source toolkits to understand bias in data sets and the ML model. So we also need to understand the principles of safety, reliability, equality, and privacy. All should be deployed reliably as intended, and sufficient safeguards must be placed. Risk to all the stakeholders should be minimized. The data, the outcome must be reliable. The data must be safe. Equality has to be respected, and the data privacy, the personal information privacy has to be kept at the priority. All AI system must treat individuals under same circumstances related to decision equality, that is equally. AI should maintain privacy and security of data of individuals or any entity which is involved in the study or the implementation that is used for training the system. Principle of transparency and the human values, the design and functioning of AI system should be recorded and made available for external scrutiny. The regular audit must be there so that transparency can be ensured. And we can also see that the human values are given priority, and the human values are respected in the AI based systems. So let us conclude. We know that AI is becoming part of everyone's life, but in the name of growth, the technology driven growth and progress, we have to also think about the ethical issues, privacy and security challenges, data protection factors, accountability, no discrimination. These factors must be seriously considered while making any IT and AI related policies for the AI system. So as we can see that the future of AI is in a number of challenging and exciting areas such as healthcare, security and defense, education, banking, finance, autonomous vehicles, manufacturing, entertainment, workplace, and so on. So easiness is being provided, comfort is being provided to in all these sectors by the artificial intelligence, but at the same time, the ethical guidelines, ethical framework, lawfulness related to regulation bodies must be there to ensure the responsible use of artificial intelligence. So ethical guidelines, regulations, policies, and in addition to these two things, some robustness must be there where the finding or the outcome must be optimal. The approach must be robust so that there is acceptability of the outcome of AI based system has also to be there. And in true sense, we'll say that AI is actually the trustworthy AI. So with one more concluding remark, that is, how can we understand that there are some guiding principles of trustworthy AI? It must have definitely inclusive growth, sustainable progress and development, and community well-being. There is no harm for anyone. Rather, there is an emphasis on community wellness and community well-being practices. It's good for the community. It's actually, that there are holistic approaches, holistic practices which are adopted in AI system kind of thing should be there as the guiding principle of trustworthy AI. In addition to this, human-centered values, fairness has to be there, transparency, accountability, robustness, security, and safety are to be given huge amount of considerations while deploying, designing, and using the artificial intelligence. So AI is emerging, AI is evolving, and without AI, it's very difficult to, it's very difficult to, what I can say, survive. AI is there in every part, every sector, every walk of our life. What is very important is, take benefit of the emerging technology, AI driven smart system, but in a responsible manner, following and respecting the human values and ethical guidelines, ethics involved. And therefore the policies and regulations also play important role to ensure that whether the ethical values, the human values are being respected or not, and the AI based system, that is smart system, is being used in a responsible manner or not. Thank you.